We are back in the captain's
That
quadrant.
said the motion picture. Did you trick me?
No. We go through this every time with the motion pictures. The S was forgotten. It was supposed to be a fancy way of saying we're watching the motion
Oh,
pictures.
okay.
Plural, because there's a bunch of them. There's like 9 of
All right,
them.
but I'm keeping my eye on you, Dove.
Welcome back to the Captain's Quadrant. I'm your co-host Joe Dove, and with us is always the Captain's Quadrant main man himself, Jason Roy Gaston. What is going on, my dude? It's been
I
a
I
while.
am
You were
I am
sick.
happy to be back. I was sick last week. I was
Yeah.
sick of you. Yes.
Oh, no, not of me. You were sick. I heard you got stabbed. Is that what? That's true.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, that was my fault for delaying the kitty's dinner.
Oh, yes.
But
Battle Cat had her way with you.
I have learned my lesson, and I promise it will not happen again.
Good. We don't want anything bad happening to you.
No.
And we like the festive. Is that a representation of Battle Cat or one of your other kitty minions?
Don't. No comment.
All right, we'll go with that. I love the festive, colorful, wonderful sweater you have.
Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, that's the wrong franchise.
What do you mean? What do you mean wrong franchise? Aren't they all the same movies?
No. That we're in Star Trek.
You know, my mother actually sat down with me the other day, and she said, "Do you know I only just now figured out that Star Trek, Star Wars, and Spaceballs are different
And Spaceballs?
franchises?" I was like, okay, Star Trek and Star Wars I can understand, but Spaceballs? Really?
Spaceballs.
I thought Spaceballs was just a funny movie in the whole franchise. I didn't know.
That's hilarious. I've got a relative that I just recorded your high pitched voice. I'm going to use that for a bumper.
I can give you more if you want. Hey, Mickey Mouse is joining the public domain in 3 weeks. We can do whatever we want to with him.
Screw you, buddy.
He's gonna star in some really bad horror movies.
Oh my God! We have
Boat Willie.
We have Pooh, Blood, and Honey, and then we have
Pooh, Blood, and Honey. That was what was wrong with me last week.
Oh, that sounds a lot of pain.
That was an interesting cleanup.
It must have been. The pain that you went through was then covered in joyous bliss. That was Star Trek 4, the one with the whales.
Indeed it was. Because if you know anything about me, you know that although some people choose Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, as the best Star Trek movie, my personal favorite, the one that I believe represents the pinnacle of Star Trek motion pictures, is Star Trek IV, the one with the whales.
The one with the whales. All right, well, let's hop into it. Thanks. Oh man, well, there's no blood this time, so everything went really well for you this week, right?
Yes. So far, but the night is young.
We'll keep you posted. Yes, Jason, tell us your first contact with this movie, and this is going to be, I guess, down memory lane.
Yes. Believe it or not, I did not see this movie in theaters.
Oh,
and it was not by choice. I lived in a very small town. We were about an hour's drive away from the nearest movie theater, so going to a movie theater was not a flash in the pan idea for us. We had to basically plan an entire day around it. And the first Star Trek movie that I did see in theaters was Star Trek 3. And of course, I loved it. I think it's a very underrated movie.
I agree.
My older cousin, who is not a Star Trek fan, came into the house one day and was like, "Have you seen Star Trek 4? And I said, "No, I haven't. I haven't been able to watch it. It's the greatest movie I've ever seen. And I hate Star Trek."
Wow.
And then he kind of gave me a synopsis against my will. Like, yes, they go back in time and they have to kidnap whales, and it's amazing. I didn't get to see it. A lot of my friends did, and they all had the same opinion that it was a terrific movie. I didn't see it till it came out on video. And after my brain melted from the previews, whenever I found out that there was a new series coming on television called Star Trek: The Next Generation, because that commercial was on the original VHS, I watched it and I instantly fell in love with this absolutely fan-darn-tastic movie.
Wow. For me, I absolutely love this movie. Rewatching it recently, when I look back in time, I think this was like it was either 3 or 4 that was the first one my mom took me to, and it became a tradition. For years, we would always go to the Star Trek movies. 3 or 4 or 5, one of them. And because this one came out in '89, right?
1986.
Oh, '86. No, so
Hmm.
I might have seen this in Rhode Island with my dad. Oh, that's another story. But
I feel like we've tripped into some childhood trauma here, so
yeah.
let's just continue.
let's forget about that.
You,
Cosmic
you
Mom.
would you like to hear more about my bowel movements last week?
They were quite interesting.
Yes.
I think
Whenever it let loose, all I could hear was a Scotsman screaming, "There be whales here!"
I am pretty sure that I had good memories of this movie, but I think so. Rhode Island and New York are very different when it comes to theater experiences. In New York, you get like a soundtrack in the movie that's not part of the movie or in the movie. It's the audience that's giving you the soundtrack. In Rhode Island, they're pretty quiet and it's everybody's hush, but the seats are not as comfortable, very stiff. I mean, back in the day, nowadays everything's kind of copacetic and it's all fluffy and cushy. But back then it was a rough time. And I am pretty sure I probably didn't pay attention to it. But what I do remember watching this is buying it on VHS because I had I had my own Quest and I had to get all of the films on VHS. And I no longer have any of them on VHS, but we had this thing called Suncoast, and I made it a pilgrimage of mine. You remember Suncoast?
I remember Suncoast.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know if it made it on the other side
yeah.
of the
We
states.
we had it in the DFW area, and whenever I
Hmm.
lived there between 2003 and 2014, I got to watch it rise and fall.
Oh yeah, same. So it was really big in the mall, and my mom used to take me via the number 40 bus. The good old days of being on the 40 bus. It would be an hour and 20 minutes to go on what would be a 20-minute car ride to Suncoast in the big mall, RIP mall, which is now an apartment building. And I remember getting that movie, and I love Star Trek. I remember watching the marathons with my mom. So I wanted to see this one, and I finally went and got that VHS and watched it and remember being, when are they fighting in space? What is going on? Why is it? And being impatient and wanting Wrath of Khan, basically. But I watch it now as an adult, and this was a very lighthearted film. It's very good, and I gotta say, this was this was far lower on my list of Star Trek movies, and now it's far higher. So going back and rewatching this has been quite an experience. So, without further ado, let us say hello to everybody in the chat. Ooh, we got Cosmic Mom. Was Jason out sick last week because he survived a Moopsie attack?
Well, yes, pretty much. If the Moopsie was on my insides, yes, I did.
Yes. The one with the whales, indeed.
Hey, the one with the whales.
It's VHS Jace. Thank you for filling in last week, buddy. Have a great show, guys. Fun movie talk about tonight.
Indeed.
Indeed. And then Damon agreed with you, of course.
Of course he does. I'm right.
Damon, as we know, is our good buddy who we interviewed. He was the background actor for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and he recently was in another film, another show with our good buddy and everybody's beloved champion of SNL, and that is Adam Sandler. And then our Aaron Sugar says, hello, Admiral. There'd be a podcast about whales here.
Aye.
And then the Sci-Fi Queen says, hello, gentlemen. Hello, Sci-Fi Queen.
Hello.
And then Aaron Sugar says, I heard Jason was in the hospital. The doctor gave him a pill and he grew a new kidney. Oh, sweet.
It's fully functional.
There we go. All right. So let's get into sometimes it may be good.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Yes. The pros and cons of this film. Now, I am going to give you a very short list of the cons, and I thought that the con of this film, not Ricardo Montalban, but the pace of it was a little slow. I felt that, like, ironically, Picard season 2 being on past Earth kind of was the main gist of the probably 80% of the movie was in the past. And after a while, I'm especially looking at it now, I was like, oh God, everything was so dirty back then. Is that how we lived in the 80s, Jace?
Yes. I never made it to New York City in the 80s, but yes.
Oh, it was dirty over there? Wow.
It's that charming 80s grit. We were talking about this, myself and VHS Jace, whenever we were talking about Q the Winged Serpent.
Oh, yes.
About how, the night and the Muppets Take Manhattan, how those movies serve as a time capsule before the pre-Disney days of New York City.
Yeah.
And it's just charming and dirty, and you still get a whiff of it every now and again whenever you walk through Times Square. You're like, smells good. Ooh, hot dogs. Ooh, donuts. Ooh, pee. Just
That's very true. As somebody who goes to New York City almost every day, I can tell you a lot of the dirt's there, but it's different. Like there's not so much paper dirt anymore. Like there was tons of, like, when those garbage men were picking up the garbage and the ship landed, and they were like, I didn't see nothing and neither did you. Let's go. There was so much like debris of trash, and most of that trash was large pieces of paper. And I was like, huh, look at that.
It's that San Francisco dirt. It's all different over there.
Yeah. But I really thought the biggest pro of this movie was the humor. It was very lighthearted, as I said previously. But everybody got their time to shine. Everybody had something to do. Everybody was involved in the big overall plot. The subplots were just the other characters getting their pieces together. You needed the transparent aluminum, which doesn't really exist. So we got our wonderful.
It does now.
It does?
It does, yes.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
We have transparent aluminum.
We have transparent aluminum, yes.
Really?
Really?
Wow. Okay, well, at the time it didn't exist.
That's because Scotty gave it to us.
Oh, so okay. Well,
I've blown your mind, and
I was like, I remember looking it up and go, is that real?
Aluminum oxynitride.
Oh, look at that. How about that? My mind is officially blown. So we got pseudoscience that became real science. Once again, Star Trek, thank you for fakely inventing something that became an invention later on. So woohoo!
Thank you, Scotty.
Thank you, Scotty. And then the plot with Chekhov and them having to rescue him from the hospital was so fun, especially when McCoy runs up on the woman and is like, "Oh my God, they have you on dialysis? What's wrong with these?" And he gives her the pills, and everything's good. One of my favorite pros is seeing this actor playing the Klingon ambassador.
Oh,
do you remember his name?
His name is John, and I cannot remember what his last name is.
Smith. No.
Smith.
Smith.
John Smith.
John Smith. But his passion in delivering that large point, we'll never have peace until Kirk is dead. It was like,
I always like Starfleet regulations. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
I loved this guy so much. I actually memorized his whole speech one time and like delivered it in a college acting class. John
really?
Schuck, there we go.
Thanks,
yes.
Aaron.
Yes. Behold the quintessential devil in these matters, James T. Kirk, renegade and terrorist. Not only is he responsible for the death of a Klingon crew, or the theft of a Klingon vessel, see now the real plot of intention. I loved that speech so much.
He was very good. A definite stand. And that is quite impressive. So I'm going to give you a round of applause for that.
Of course. And I totally deserve it. And I was so happy to see him, John Schuck, return in Star Trek 6. It was such a great surprise when he popped up and he goes, they've done this. I'm like, it's him!
It's that guy. And we had another returning person that was in 2 and 6. And that's our buddy, Brock Peters.
Yes.
Was he the same character? Was he the same admiral, you think?
He was the same admiral. It was Admiral Cartwright.
Rolling.
Those doggies roll. Sorry, wrong Cartwright.
Cartwright.
Yes. It was you might say it was a bonanza for him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Cartwright ended up being the villain, but that's because they couldn't bring peace and they couldn't give peace a chance.
And Kirstie Alley wouldn't come back to play Savick.
Yes, Kirstie Alley wouldn't come back to play. Oh, you think she would have been in part of the plot too?
Oh, she was totally going to be.
Romulan spy.
Valeris was supposed to be Savick.
Right.
Yeah,
that I knew.
Yeah,
but
we're talking about the wrong movie, though.
We are. We're talking about the one with the whales right now.
Yes.
And one of my favorite scenes of this movie of all time. It's always going to be the Vulcan nerve pitch to the punk rock guy.
Absolutely.
I hate you. Now, I believe you were the one that told me that he actually wrote that song and did this.
He did. Yeah. Yes. He's got actually quite a resume on him. Kirk Thatcher.
Yes.
Kirk Thatcher. He did write I Hate You and the reprise, which played during that unfortunate season of Star Trek Picard, which I don't care. It was good to see him again. I know it didn't make sense, but it was good to see him again. But he did write it, and he works for, before he was in this movie, he worked for Industrial Light and Magic as a props maker and sculptor, and he actually worked on Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Star Trek III. The biggest contributions that he made was the SETI eel that dug itself into Chekhov's ear, and Spock's coffin, and the Klingon monster dog.
Oh shoot!
And the most impressive thing, and I bet nobody out there knows this, and if you say you did, you're a liar.
You're a liar.
In the Short Treks episode, Ephraim and Dot, the animated one, he was the narrator.
Oh, that's crazy! I didn't know that for sure. That is amazing.
So he is he's a very well-rounded, versatile actor, performer, and creator. And I think he's just a cool dude. I'd love to meet him one of these days.
Apparently, in the chat, our buddy Aaron Sugar says Thatcher is God, and apparently he's also very nice. And Geek Filter, hello, good to see you, my friend. He works for Jim Henson.
Yes. I also just found this out right now that if you look at Spider-Man: Homecoming, he plays a homeless man.
Oh wow!
So I'll have to go back and rewind that and watch that. Rewind. I'm such an antiquated term for an antiquated fellow.
Well, I mean that's how I watch this, rewinding and everything. All right. What are your pros and cons for this movie?
My pros are that I don't believe this movie has any cons.
Wow. I taste like it's slowing down.
The only thing that I would point out as a con is not even the movie's fault. It's the fact that if you go into this movie blind, you're going to wonder why they're not on the Enterprise. And Kirk gives a very quick log entry, kind of explains everything. But I really think that's it. I also think it's unfortunate that they dump Robin Curtis off on Vulcan and just kind of leave her there. Because that's the last we ever saw of her.
Yeah.
And Robin Curtis, who is also a super nice person, she was at the very first con I ever went to with Mark Leonard in 1996.
Ooh.
Somebody asked her, "What is Savick doing these days? What do you think she's doing?" And she sat there for a minute. She goes, "I think she's still waiting on that rock with Mark Leonard." And Mark Leonard's over there going, "Yeah, probably." I know that they needed to get the number of characters down, but it just seems to me that just leaving Savick there was kind of weird, because I don't think that she would have gotten arrested if they'd brought her in, or at least have her show up at the end.
Yeah. Good. You made it back with the whales. Yay.
Yep. Savick's here to offer testimony remotely because she's still on Vulcan, and she's on the big screen, like, give him the chair. But yeah, I honestly, the pacing, the humor, the music, I know a lot of people don't like the music. I love the music.
No, the music was fine.
This movie is so incredibly unique to Star Trek. It's just, it feels totally different from anything they had ever done before, and yet feels like Star Trek. It feels like it belongs, and not only does it belong, it represents, in my opinion, the best they've ever done. And it's not just my opinion. There was a fellow, his name was Gene, and Gene
Simmons
also said, probably, Gene also said that he felt that this was one of the only times that they managed to get his idea for Star Trek right.
Wow.
So Yeah, Star Trek 4, in my opinion, has no cons. It is the perfect Star Trek movie. It is a lighthearted comedy. It is a science fiction adventure. It is a race against time. It has a wonderful progressive message to it. And I think the most refreshing thing of all is that there is no villain.
Yeah. Well,
No,
but
no,
but
no,
but
no. There is no villain.
the
It's
whalers.
they were just there to give us a ticking clock.
Mm.
And they didn't know any better. They have children at home. All right. They have to
I
feed
gotta
their
feel
children.
like it. They don't like whale.
They don't, no, they love whales. That's the problem.
Yeah, we
They
only
love
eat
them a little
whale
bit too
here.
much.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm giving the movie more credit than it deserves. But the humpback whale population on Earth has rebounded since
Oh, it did.
1986.
Yeah.
One could say that one of the reasons why that happened was because Star Trek 4 was a humongous success. Adjusting for inflation, it's one of the most successful Star Trek movies of all time.
Interesting.
I believe that this movie, and I can't prove it, this is just my opinion. I believe this movie raised enough awareness to where people were like, why are the humpback whales going extinct? What's going on with that? And I will fight till my dying breath to say the reason why we have more humpback whales now than we did in 1986 is because of this movie.
I won't argue with that at all.
That would be wise.
Yeah, I mean that's that. But the reason why I won't argue with that is because simultaneously, one of my favorite bands is a band called Yes, and then they said, "Don't
Who?
kill the whale." Yes,
Who?
yes,
Who?
the band. Yes,
The band?
yes,
Who?
yes, the band.
The band.
The band. Yes,
The band is called Yes.
correct.
The band is called Correct.
No, the band is called Yes.
Who?
No, Yes, not Who. Who's a different band.
Wait, hold on. We're talking about the band.
The band called Yes.
So, the band.
Yes.
Who's the band?
Yes is the band.
Yes is the band.
Correct.
Then who's correct?
You are, because you said Yes is the band.
Okay, see, let's end it right there. I'm correct.
I think we could have gone longer on that one. I don't know. But they came out with an album called Don't Kill the Whale, and it was one of their big songs at that time. So I was always...
Before or after 1986?
That is a great question, and I'm going to answer that really quickly. Like, just give me 1 second.
I'm racing you.
Oh my god. Actually, it was released in 1978.
So a little bit before this movie.
Yeah, a little bit before.
Okay, but you know what? The humpback whale population didn't start rebounding in 1978, did it?
That's true. No, it did not.
It went down.
It went
So I
down.
like to think that the Who actually killed more whales.
Yes, not the Who. Yes. Wait, Yes killed? No, they said don't kill the whale.
Yeah, but you know what? They probably sang it in a way where it was badly mixed, and all that people heard was "kill the whales."
Kill the whales. Kill the whales. Guess who? No, the other thing about the whales, them getting them on the ship, the little bird of prey did not look big enough to put those humpback whales on. It always baffled me. It was like, wait a minute, how are they going to put them on? Because that, like, I feel like they don't really have that much space because the wings is so thin, and then you got the big like front hull of the the whole front of the bridge section, and it's also one of the firing spot. But then the rest of it's kind of dinky. So I was like, how are they going to get them on there? Did they shrink them?
Well, here's the thing. I'm actually looking for the video right now because I want to make sure that I credit the person who made this YouTube video.
Oh, nice.
But of course, now I can't find it, so now I'm going to look like a complete idiot. Somebody went and took the dimensions of a bird of prey, and the dimensions of a fully grown humpback whale, and found out that the bird of prey actually did not have enough room to carry 2 humpback whales.
Baby! Look at that.
But here's the thing. The Enterprise doesn't have enough room for a vertical intermix chamber and a turbolift shaft either.
Ooh, wow.
And it also doesn't have enough room for 2 torpedo tubes next to each other. and the model, the bridge on the original series doesn't work unless you rotate it 15 degrees because of where the turbo lift shaft is on the outside of the model. Here's the thing about all of that. Who
Wow.
cares? Who cares?
All
No
right,
one
very well.
cares. No one's out there with measuring tape measuring the whales and an imaginary alien spaceship that turns invisible.
Yeah,
No
that's
one cares. It's
all right.
suspension of disbelief. If
Very
you can
well.
believe that a pointy-eared man can die and get better, you can believe that a humpback whale can
Fit on
fit
this-
on an imaginary invisible spaceship.
All right, very well. I just want to take a quick second to say hello to our good buddy Brian. It was Ghosthead 68. Hey, what's
Hey.
up, buddy? Yeah, he is a great 3D printer. You can reach out to him for some of those wonderful needs, as well as our good buddy Encapsulated International. We appreciate the work you did there. And of course, the guy who made our badges, and they are pretty awesome. Did you fix yours?
There was nothing wrong with it.
Oh, okay,
No.
great.
I just wasn't wearing it. And I just remembered, oh, I should probably wear it. There we go.
There it is. Yes.
Cover up that ugly TIE fighter with it.
Wrong sci-fi show. Yes. So,
Before you begin, the
Mhm.
video is by E.C. Henry, who has an incredible YouTube channel that not only covers Star Trek, but also other things.
Oh,
But yes, it is a great, he does it, is called Stuffing Whales into a Spaceship. But yes, it's gives you more information than you could possibly want about this subject.
Gotcha. Let's see. Geek Filter says there's also an emergency lift that goes up the nacelle struts. That wouldn't work either.
No,
Hmm.
not unless it's like a one-person lift and you got to stand sideways.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they have in the Oberths and in the California class. Who knows?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. But hey, it's science fiction. Suspend your beliefs and
Yeah, who cares?
go with the fiction of it all. One of the things that I did enjoy in this is the design of the whale probe. And
yes,
I thought the cylindrical shape and the little balls at the bottom
yes.
that kind of are coming out by emulating light was super cool. The sound that it made was really cool as well. Yeah, and it obliterated everything in its path. So I thought that was super cool. I think that's one of the standout moments of this film. It's just there's nothing they could do. Like it was changing the atmosphere of Earth and just completely shutting down not only spaceships, not only alien vessels and space stations, but it was shutting planets down. This thing was no joke, and we only saw it in one film.
Yeah, I've always wondered where it came from, but if you wonder where it came from, there's actually a novel written by Margaret Wayner Bonanno called Probe that explains its origins. Although don't ever ask her to sign it for you because she'll probably throw it at your face because
Wow.
Pocketbooks like took it away from her and changed everything. So she was very upset about that.
Wow.
Speaking of which, I do have a con that I do have to talk about.
Okay, great.
And that is that there was not enough scenes in the 23rd century involving spaceships. I am a little upset about that, and I'm giving a shout out to another YouTube channel. JTVFX has a video called Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, The Probe Recreation, where he reimagines the probe's encounter with the Saratoga and the probe's eventual arrival at Earth. But in between, he actually has a scene that he put in that shows Starfleet trying to intercept the probe, and you see a Constitution class in the fleet. You see a Constellation class like Picard's Stargazer, and all these other 23rd century Starfleet ships trying to stop this probe, and all of them basically just failing miserably. Here's a fun fact for you, by the way.
Love those.
In Star Trek IV, we see a distress call from the USS Yorktown.
Yes.
Where we see our very first South Asian captain, by the way, talk about how their ship is damaged and they don't have any life support, and they're going to put up a makeshift solar cell to generate electricity to keep them alive. The plan apparently did not work, and they all died.
Oh,
because that's the ship that became the Enterprise A at the end.
No way. So they were like, all right, just clean up all these
Yeah,
dead people. And then
Just
we'll
open up a
just take
window,
them.
let them all get sucked out, repaint the hull registry. Let's give it to Kirk. If he asks what the weird smell is, just say you don't smell anything.
Oh my God. Seriously? That's what they did? I was always wondering because I was like, I know they said that they renamed the Yorktown to the Enterprise A, but damn, I didn't know it was that Yorktown.
Yeah, that's the Yorktown. And
Oh.
the reason why that captain wasn't there going, excuse me, I believe this is my ship. It's because he did.
He did?
He did. Everyone's
Oh.
dead. Hey, we need another crew for this ship right now. I don't know. Give it to Kirk. No, nobody wants to drive around in that cursed ship.
Oh wow. Now that is a detail that I missed, of course, and B is so deep dive into
Yes.
Trek.
Indeed.
Oh my God, that's so cool. And was it also the Yorktown that was in the Picard fleet that was sitting there?
Probably not the same one.
No. I don't think it was the same, but the same name.
There probably was. They like to use the name Yorktown quite a bit in
Yeah.
Star Trek because the Enterprise originally was going to be called the Yorktown. And,
Oh.
thank goodness they didn't, because it's like, this is Captain James T. Kirk of the Yorktown. It just doesn't work.
And ironically, that's one of the towns near my mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
Yorktown.
fascinating.
Isn't that?
It is, yes.
That's probably what they named all these ships after.
Probably so.
It's such a pretty city.
Never been.
It is, I swear.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I've just never been.
Well, I'm just going to bring up one of the things that our good buddy Jace gave to us, and that is something that's been bugging me about this thing that they could have done, and it is, of course, the missed opportunity.
What the hell was that?
That was the missed opportunity bumper. Wasn't that awesome?
No, I'm out for 1 week and you're putting in new bumpers. I don't know if I like that.
We want to upgrade. It's always
Wow.
it's good to grow. Missed opportunity in Star Trek 4. I believe one of the biggest missed opportunities in Star Trek 4 was, of course, all these ships that just get obliterated. We could have seen other ships fall under the tail.
Yes.
I think you brought it up first that we should have seen some type of other spaceships. We had a very lacking. Everything was on the teleprompter or computer screen, and we saw captains going, "Oh, we in trouble, Doc! Help!" I thought it would have been really cool to see other like Romulans and Klingons and other species that the Tellarites or something, even Vulcans just bow down to this whale probe. And
I could just see that, the Vulcans are sitting there, the probe comes by, and they're just like, Captain, there appears to be some kind of powerful wave coming from the probe. Oh no. Please control yourself, science officer. I apologize for my outburst.
I thought it would have been cool. I thought it was a missed opportunity to not have other ships just like, oh man, this thing is a menace. And just like further build the suspense and power of this thing. I thought it would have been really cool if we had other species also like kind of fall under its power.
Science officer, are we screwed? Yes, Captain, we appear to be screwed.
We are very screwed, Captain. I thought that was a missed opportunity. Is there anything that you would consider a missed opportunity for Star Trek 4?
Oh, goodness. A missed opportunity. I did mention that I wish that we would have seen more of the 23rd century, but of course, at the same time, I also have to understand they did have a budget.
What?
And I think that they spent their budget very, very wisely. There was a scene that George Takei speaks about where it would have taken place right before or after they noticed the big Yellow Pages advertisement.
Yes.
But he would have come across they would have been in San Francisco's Chinatown at that time. And they would have come across a young Asian boy who would have been lost or something, and they would have taken him home. And in doing so, Sulu bonds with this boy, and they become friends. And as they drop him off, the woman, the mother, says something in Japanese, I believe, or Chinese. I'm not sure. Sulu's Japanese, right?
Yeah, Sulu is
Okay,
Japanese.
so I'm sorry, I got that ethnicity wrong.
Okay.
So Sulu hears them say something in Japanese, and he kind of goes like that. And Scotty asks him what's wrong. He goes, "That is my great 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 grandfather."
Oh wow.
And so he helped his great great grandfather get home.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a double voyage home. That's a missed
Yes.
opportunity.
So I don't know. I would have loved to have seen that scene. Apparently the young actor who they got to play Sulu's great 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 grandfather
Wanted too much money and couldn't afford him.
no, he was there, but the kid's mom was apparently very domineering, and the kid couldn't concentrate, and the kid became very emotional because he was like 8.
Oh,
And they had to end up just scrapping the scene because they didn't have time to shoot it anymore.
wow.
And Takei says that is one of the things that he regrets most is that scene wasn't there. And I love George Takei, and if that scene was special to him, I would have loved to have seen it. So I think it's sad that it just never got shot.
I agree. That's a missed opportunity that I didn't even know about, and
Yes.
I am sorely missing that scene. That would have been so cool. Is there a director's cut that you know of this movie?
No. There's a director's edition, but that's what I had on Laserdisc. Is yes, I had a Laserdisc player.
Wow,
In the
Sun
early
Coast.
90s. I was Sun Coast. I was very I was
All in it.
super in there.
Yeah.
But no, this scene was just never shot. Period.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
they
sucks.
just could not do it.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, and I think it's time to fire at will.
Fire at will.
I love that.
It's wonderful. It is
Yeah.
so wonderful.
So,
VHS Jace is a demented man, and I'm so glad we know him.
yes. So glad he's our friend. So we did say hi to a lot of folks. We also had a couple of other wonderful comments from our buddy Damon. What an iconic scene in Star Trek. There's a lot of iconic scenes in Spider-Man. He's holding a boombox as well. That's
Yeah,
fun.
of course he is.
Yeah, that
Of
makes
course he
sense.
is.
Right on.
That's where Kirk Thatcher holds his power.
Yeah. And then Savick is busy raising Spock's kid.
Oh, that's right, because he pon-farred her.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh man. Did they
He's
ever say anything about that?
Vulcan in the streets, Klingon in the sheets.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. That'd be a really cool backstory they could do. There's going to be a book from Greg Cox about true crime podcasts centering on the disappearance of Dr. Gillian Taylor.
That's going to be amazing. Greg Cox is a terrific author, too.
Oh, these are okay. I thought he was just joking. That's
no.
awesome.
Greg Cox wrote the Q trilogy, which
Oh,
I
wow.
think is just a fantastic set of books.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that exists. That makes a lot of sense to have like I'm gonna go to the future with you. Agreed. I can't really nitpick this movie. It was awesome all over. Well, I just think Jason 100% agrees with you. I just think the middle piece of it kind of dragged on a little bit. They could have wrapped up the whales a little bit more. It's okay. I think her former boss took the
Oh, that really, honestly,
that
really?
actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? He was probably embezzling money anyway. He probably sold George and Gracie to the Russians.
Probably
told them exactly where to find them. Here's the radio frequency. Just give me a cut. He deserved it. I hope he went.
Wow.
I hope they gave him the chair.
I hope they put that in the book. That's a really good like subplot. You know, like, oh yeah, here, tell you what, guys, here are the whales. Go over there and harpoon away. I told him they need to do a real podcast along with the book, but he said that's beyond my technological abilities. Tell him to reach out to
Greg.
yeah.
Call us. Call us.
Yeah, we'll have you right in here. We'll stop the agony booth and just have a whole season with you, bro. Like, let's go.
Gillian Taylor was a caring marine biologist at the Cetacean Institute in San Francisco. But one day, she disappeared along with her whales. There have been many theories. Some say that she couldn't live without them and went to go join them in a watery grave. Others say her fate was more sinister and mysterious. Join us on this 18-part podcast as we discover what happened to Gillian Taylor, the whale woman.
Affirmative.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. And Jillian walked out one night and never suspected a thing. Her boss had been following her. I think that would be a lot of fun. We could totally do that.
Was it her boss, or was it the mysterious stranger who wouldn't pay for his own damn pizza?
The novelization has a translation of what the probe was trying to say.
Hey!
Anyway,
Hey!
I'm,
Hey! Hey!
that's what it said.
I don't think they can hear us. Turn it up. Hey!
If you're listening to this in the podcast only, I'm very sorry for the loud noises this week. Oh, and your kitty, and you're missing out on the kitty. You should go visit our YouTube so you can see this cute little kitty. The very wonderful furry friend of Jason Roy Gaston is
she did not like me screaming, so she put her claws into my leg and was like, "Stop it!
Yeah.
Stop talking about the one with the whales."
Yeah,
She knocked off my pen too. Oh my
goodness!
Where did you go? Come here.
She's gonna go toss it around on the floor for sure.
Probably. The rest of it's here. Hold on, excuse me.
No worries.
I hope I don't make this too alluring for you.
Ooh, the most PG-13 rated episode of Captain Squadron ever. Mm-hmm.
Following Where's Jillian Taylor, we will have we'll have our OnlyFans presentation.
There you go. Hey guys, I had the show on in the background while my aide was working on me. My aide Jackie says you guys are funny.
Well, tell Jackie we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And to like and subscribe.
And then we guess who? We almost went back to that part. And then okay, we get it. Easy up at it.
No, never.
Oh man.
You'll have to kill us first, like Jillian's boss killed her.
Yes, indeed. Jackie loved the offhand comment about New York being quaint and dirty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not as much as it used to be. It's
no.
place now that it's been Disneyfied.
Yeah, that's true. There isn't enough space. It's TARDIS technology. That's
inside than it is on the outside, like
indeed.
my stomach.
There's also an emergency lift. We talked about that one.
We can't rerun comments.
We can't rerun the comments. Why not? Just because they changed the ship doesn't mean everybody on the ship died.
Really? Which crew members carried over?
All right, there you go, Gig Felder.
Yeah.
Although Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise says that the Tahoe got the change to the Enterprise A. Interesting.
No, I like my theory better. I like mine better. It's a ship of the dead. That's why it was cursed in Star Trek V.
The DVD commentary has that Shatner and Nimoy together talking over the movie. Yeah, well, that's how we commentary. Yeah,
but I want to watch it now because I don't think I have that version.
No.
So, this is the one about the whales, is it not? I didn't understand this one, but I read the words on the script, and it seemed other people liked it. Please let me direct the next one, I said. Please. Please. Let me direct the next one, and I will give Jillian Taylor back. But he never did. Jillian
whatever
Taylor
happened
remains
to her?
missing to this day.
Well, now we know she's unsolved murders. Or unsolved
Her and Savick are sitting together on a rock on Vulcan, just like, they'll be by any minute now.
Any day. She was last seen assaulting her former boss outside the Cetacean Institute.
She was last seen assaulting a whale killer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Brought to you by Better Health in Squarespace. That's a good one. That's very good.
That is good.
That is very good. Floof.
She's still clawing my leg. She's still here.
Oh yeah, we're talking about.
Hello.
Oh, you'll find the movie better than either of them.
Oh, I'm sure I do. I don't think that they watch it twice a year. Of course, if I was in a movie, I don't think I'd watch it twice a year either. I have too much concern. Oh God, I don't want to watch it.
No, I was in something.
I'm just kidding. I'd watch the heck out of it.
Yeah, I'd be like, look at me, man, that starship. Look at me go, baby.
Look, kitty, look at daddy.
Yeah, I'd be grabbing Teddy. Come on, Teddy, we're gonna watch me.
No.
So I've got to know the quintessential feel-good movie of the Star Trek series is obviously Star Trek 4. What do you consider to be the antecedent to that? What is the worst Star Trek movie for you?
The feel bad Star Trek movie?
Yes. What is the one that you're like, oh no, not again?
Well, that would be a movie where they decide to go dark. And there's a couple of them on there. But here's the thing, Star Trek 4 is so good.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to find a movie that's like super dark to cancel it out. I guess the one that comes closest to me is Star Trek Nemesis,
Oh,
because
wow.
it goes to some very dark places, and it's also not a good movie.
I disagree. I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. The echo over the voice. But it's a very dark movie. I mean, there's so much death in that movie. I think that's the most deaths I've ever seen in Star Trek, because I think people got like flung out of the ship.
Oh, yeah. Well, not counting all the people who died on the Yorktown.
Oh yes, that's right. This is
I just like to think that as Captain Kirk was exploring the new Enterprise A, there were people back there with big brooms, just like he's coming. Like, get these frozen body parts into the replicators.
replicators.
Well, you know, they got to recycle matter.
Oh my God, they're
Waste not, want not.
Oh no, how's
You wanna
that
talk-
ham?
You want to talk about? Well, you know, would you rather a ham be made out of dead people or made out of poop?
Oh, God, that is
a
question.
philosophical question
It
that will
is.
keep you at awake at night. I'm telling you.
Oh my God, that is insane. Oh, this is a good point. Just because you enjoy it doesn't mean it's a good movie. I guess he's talking about. Are you
He's talking about Nemesis.
I don't think so. I think he totally means.
He's talking
This
about
one.
Nemesis.
I think he's talking about this one.
No, I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
I hope I'm not. Geek Filter, if you're still there, if you wouldn't mind. If you're wondering, if you're listening,
Verify for this buffoon, please.
Hey, watch that. If you're watching for the first time or listening to the first time on our podcast version, we appreciate it. Please do rate us 5 stars on your favorite streaming service that you're listening to our podcast on. And we have another
And
comment.
if you have seen Jillian Taylor, please call the authorities immediately.
Yes.
And if you happen to see a man in a strange white bathrobe, please keep your distance. He is armed and dangerous.
And extremely dangerous. Why transparent aluminum could be an industry game changer.
Yes. Yes, it can be.
I don't know how when they don't have whales on Vulcan.
Who's to say they don't now?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, you know what? We better grab one of those whales. Just kidding.
Yeah, you know, if that thing ever comes back, they're going to need like a spare or something. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's whales on a bunch of different planets
now.
everywhere. I'm pretty sure in the 32nd century, Booker has got some whales stashed away somewhere.
I'm pretty sure the Romulans totally took DNA and they got whales on their planet.
Well, you know, the whale that went with them was probably a turncoat trader anyway.
Yeah.
Now it's sitting there in shoulder pads and a bowl haircut.
With the eyebrow.
Let us go over here into this deep part of the pool and plot.
I think the other question I always had regarding this movie, since you and Geek Filter and all the folks are here, is since the whale probe wanted to speak to the whales, does that mean whales had gotten into an evolved species and took off planet Earth in that type of contraption? Or are whales an alien that had always lived on Earth and we killed them off?
According to the book Probe,
Interesting.
the citation probe, the cetacean probe as they called it,
Mm-hmm.
came from the other end of the galaxy. It's millions of years old.
Mm-hmm.
And was sent out into the galaxy by another race of cetaceans who, whenever they see them, resemble dolphins with arms.
Oh.
And this race sent the probe out because they were looking for other races like themselves. And it came to Earth several times and made contact with the whales. And whenever it came by the last time, it noticed that the planet had gone silent and it started to sterilize the surface.
Wow.
Because whatever killed the whales was still there. So it was there to kill humans.
Oh,
again,
wow.
this is the book. It's not canon, and it's been a while, so I may be getting some details wrong. But the race that sent the probe had gone extinct as well, and so the probe had no way of knowing that it was serving a dead race anymore.
Holy smokes.
And I believe, I could be getting this wrong, I believe that Spock ends up mind melding with the probe at one point and communicating this to it. And it just decides to go out and continue its mission, but without the sterilization. So every time it finds a race of intelligent cetaceans. It just signals, hello, would you like to talk?
Wow.
So it's a good book. I know, like I said, I know the author is not a fan of it because she had creative control ripped away from her, but I enjoyed the book. I thought it was good.
Interesting. And we got some bad news in the chat. He was talking about Nemesis, which is terrible because Insurrection is the worst Star Trek movie.
Which just means that Geek Filter is intelligent. Insurrection is bad, but it's not as bad as Nemesis.
I mean, it was boring.
And so was Nemesis.
Nemesis wasn't boring. It was some pew
Nemesis. There was some pew, but there was also a lot of PU, as in bad decision.
I'm going to make that a which movie was worse poll on YouTube. You guys can go check that out on our Captain's Quadrant YouTube. And let us know, what do you think was the worst movie? Nemesis or
Nemesis?
Star Trek.
Nemesis. There's no.
So would you rate 5 higher than those two?
Absolutely, I would.
Wow. Geek Filter?
I would.
Geek Filter also says, was it Geek Filter? No. Aaron Sugar said, Nemesis is the only Star Trek movie I rate lower than all 3 Kelvinverse movies. You know,
harsh, but okay.
That's very harsh, especially because Nemesis isn't that bad. I thought it was better than the second.
It is that bad.
You know what? It's funny. Like, I always felt like the Kelvin universe casting was on point. Like,
I think that Star Trek 2009 and Star Trek Beyond are quality movies. The less we say about the middle one, the better.
Yeah, I think that Nemesis is better than the middle one for sure.
No,
oh, come on, like no love for Nemesis. I know some of our other podcasters would agree with me for sure. Let's see. It's not too far off from the probe translations in the movie novelization. At one point, they were going to add that it's subtle, but test groups didn't like it.
Subtitle.
Oh, I don't like God. Can you give me a break?
I don't know.
Let's see. I rate Insurrection over 5, but I like that one more than most. Insurrection? Really? I thought that was the most boring. I know you have like a special hatred for 5, Aaron Sugar. And that's because
5 is bad, but it's not as bad as Nemesis.
I mean, Nemesis 5 or Insurrection?
Who, me? 5? Now what?
5. Would you rather watch 5? Which would go in the agony movie?
Okay.
5 or Insurrection?
If I had to rate them, Final Frontier, Insurrection, Nemesis, going from better to worse.
Wow, really?
Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes.
Wow. That is insane. My hatred for 5 is personal. Yes, that was a big point of contention for.
No, I'm not saying 5's a quality movie. It's not. But if I had to choose which one, if I had 2 hours to die before I die, and they said, choose a Star Trek movie, we have these 3. After about 15 minutes of crying and cursing, I would choose 5 because it's the best one out of those 3. But that's like choosing, which cancer would you like to have?
Oh, God.
We have rectal, we have testicular, and we have eye cancer. Which one would you like?
God. Is eye cancer? Oh, that's terrible.
Yes.
Is Insurrection the one that looks like it was filmed in an outlet mall at the Camarillo?
Yeah, with all the wardrobe that's left over from Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I hate that one. That's
It's not good. It's like you said, it's boring.
It's so boring. And like, what pisses me off about, I know this is about 4 guys. I know this is a
They don't ever expect us to stay on topic. This is Fire at Will.
This is
if you don't understand the segment, you just need to get out. Don't get out. I'm just kidding.
No, don't leave. I can't stand Insurrection. And what annoyed me the most is you had F. Murray Abraham to go across Patrick Stewart, which should have been like a Shakespearean shit-off, but instead it was just, what? Is it over? It was so boring.
They really didn't have that many scenes together, though, did they?
No, which I think
that I think Picard had more powerful scenes with Admiral Dougherty than he did with Ruafo.
I agree.
Just, how many people does it take, Admiral? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll, Tootsie Pop?
Oh my!
1, 100, 1,000? How many does it take?
I'm asking for real. I want to know. Let me put this up. A few years ago, my storage unit was broken into, and pretty much everything was taken except when they went through the boxes. They took out the Star Trek V cup and left it in the middle of the floor.
Oh yeah, that's like that story about the looting in this one city. They went through and they broke into a Blockbuster Video, stole everything. This Blockbuster Video had 5 copies of Star Trek V ready to rent after the riot, and the shop had been just completely vandalized. There were 17 copies.
They brought it back. The riot was over. Star Trek V.
Yeah. It will never be better than Star Trek 4. I like to think that these movies have just been trying to be better than Star Trek 4 ever since Star Trek 4, and none of them has succeeded, but some of them have tried.
I think the greatest Star Trek movie, like I said, oscillates between 2 and 6.
6 is a very high quality movie.
So
I think it is a worthy finale for the original crew, but Star Trek 4 is just Star Trek 4, and it is so enjoyable. It is so light. It is a wonderful science fiction movie by itself. It has got that wonderful progressive message. It has the entire crew being featured the way they should have been featured in every movie.
yeah, that's true. I will give you 100%.
And I just enjoy it so much.
Interesting. I love Star Trek 6 for most of those reasons, but we got another dogfight and a standoff between Christopher Plummer and Kirk, a la Ricardo Montalban and Kirk in Star Trek.
I'm going to take this off because my sweater is like too thick.
It just keeps slowly going down.
Keep moving southward.
Yeah, like wait.
Eventually, this is going to turn into a cod piece. I'm sorry, it's just the wrong size.
Oh no! I always thought that. I was going to say I thought that Vader was pulling it using the Force. I will have that Star Trek.
Incidentally, my favorite is Star Trek 2.
Because Revengeance is Sith.
Revengeance?
I said vengeance is Sith.
Oh, I could have sworn you said revengeance.
I might have.
Are we inventing new words today?
I think it's great that we have to invent.
Ghost of Mary Travers is going to be very upset with us.
I have to jump on. Fun show. See you, buddy. Don't jump too high.
Bye.
Don't fall.
See, you drove him off by talking about Star Trek Nemesis.
No. He's a busy man. He's making comic books and doing a lot of things. We're gonna have him on the show. But before we go, I want to mention that we are gonna have a very special episode next week. We're gonna do a live section 31 and a half. Jason, if you will, because you could pronounce his last name better than I could. But there's a special author that I met at a recent convention, and that author is.
I don't remember. I don't remember his name. I've read his books though.
Yes, Keith D. We're gonna call him Keith D. He's Keith D. Yes, K-Rad on Instagram. He is a fantastic author.
Totally threw me under the bus, you jackass.
Hey, it's live, so it's always gonna be there. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh. I don't even know why I do this show anymore. I just don't enjoy it anymore. Just one humiliation after the other.
Keith DeCandido.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of.
Yes. So we're going to have the wonderful author Keith DeCandido in section 31 and a half as we have questions. And he is an amazing author. He's written many a Star Trek book and many Star Trek comic, as well as Farscape, which is my other go-to science fiction story in space. Did you ever watch Farscape?
I did watch Farscape. I loved it. It was like Muppets on acid.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why I liked it so much. So please join us next week. This is going to be our first live interview. This is going to be so much fun. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give us a rating. And if you are watching for the first time, we appreciate you coming by and saying hello. But while you're doing so, please give us a like. It's free. It helps us greatly. It's like a whale probe. The only thing that the algorithm is looking for are the likes. And, they're endangered these days on the internet. So if you give us a like, it'll help the whale probe go and save the planet.
It will help us continue to destroy things in our way.
Yeah, it'll help me eat words. Yes. And, of course, we wouldn't be remiss without talking about our wonderful other things that are happening in the world of the internet, especially on YouTube. And that is about your channel,
Yes.
My
Oh
Gas
my
channel with
goodness.
Comedy
Look
Goes
at
to Die.
that.
Yes.
Look at, it's adorable. I just love it.
It's
so
super
much.
dirty. You and all your little furry friends.
Yes. Got my little three princesses and my dirty Australian Santa Claus. I just love it so much.
Yes. And speaking of the dirty Australian Santa Claus, we thank him for all the wonderful things that are happening on this channel, as well as you should go check out his channel with the very sharp Rick. They are on Pop Culture Spread, and every Friday, that's tomorrow, they will be talking about movie and streaming news every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. in the United States and Saturday at 9 a.m. in South Australia time. Be sure to join them. It's a lot of fun. And if you are Whovian, please be sure to go and visit To Be Seen and check out the console room every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I believe we are diving into the wondrous world of River Song.
Oh, hello, sweetie.
Oh, you're Whovian too.
I am a huge Whovian.
Oh, so we're gonna have to talk about that off the show. Pew pew pew. And
pew pew.
Yeah, there's no pewing in
No.
Hey guys, the merch issue about the figures. What are your thoughts? Oh, Playmates no longer has the rights to the merch. That's a very good point. This is a very
amazingly, creating action figures that we've had for 30 years was not a sound business policy.
No. But on the flip side, a new company is making ships. Yes. I can't remember the name of the company right now. I so apologize if you listened all the way to the end of this and we're expecting me to have a name for that. But do you remember the name of the company?
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, so hopefully we'll have an answer very shortly because he is a wizard of the keys, just like Scotty in Star Trek 4. Are we?
But yes, Playmates announced earlier this week that they are no longer going to be making Star Trek action figures. Fan Home is the
Fan Home,
which is super aggravating because my Prodigy figures are sitting on the mantelpiece of my fireplace, waiting for Rot Talk and Admiral Janeway to join them, and they never will. And that model of the Protostar that they promised us 2 years ago is never going to get made. Quite honestly, how does a property like Star Trek not get a toy line?
Yeah.
Even if it's made for adults.
They're terrible with merch.
They
are. I had to reach out to a friend of the pod to get my
I'm sorry, Paramount should be all over.
This should have been all over Moopsy. And I'm not gonna shout out the person that did this, but you know, they host a cast called the Strange Pod, and I won't go further into that because I don't want them to
don't rat them out.
I'm not gonna rat them out, but they did such a good job, and I want to go, oh my god, you guys should get this from, but I definitely don't want her to get sued, so we're gonna leave that out. But oh, and tomorrow they are gonna rip on the Golden Globes, so please be sure to check them out.
Are the Golden Globes still a thing?
That's probably what he's going to be ripping on. It's like, why is this still a thing?
Why are award shows a thing? I just don't get it. It's like, who cares? Hollywood patting itself on the back for 3 hours. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah. I don't know why they make it such a thing that's televised. It's like, why don't you just guys keep it to yourselves?
Yeah, we don't
make
care.
An Illuminati thing. Yeah.
And of course, they're like, why does the viewership for the Oscars go down every year? Because we don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is going to wrap it up for us this week. We will be back next week again with the amazing Kevin DeCandido, and we're going to talk Star Trek books. It's going to be so much fun. All the books that he's written. So if you're going to be there, be sure to join us and have your questions ready. Take care.